Well, after more than a year of meticulous organizing and preparation, my plans for the big cruise ship arrival on Monday fell apart, and I'm going to share that story with you. Cruise ship arrivals are a rare occurrence here on Saipan. Sometimes we'll go 2 and 3 years without ever seeing a cruise ship. When they do happen, I'm fortunate enough to get advance notice. A lot of the cruise ship folks will make their plans up to 2 years in advance. So I've known about this upcoming cruise for over a year. And people have been signing up. The word has been spreading. And typically, what I do is I'll rent some vans and then get some friends together, and we'll, show the folks around the island for the day. So I've had these reservations for a while. And so I get up on the morning of the cruise ship arrival. This was just on Monday, 2 days ago. And I got up at 4 o'clock and started my preparation and packed all of the items that I'm going to share with the cruise ship folks. By 6:45, I took some video of the ship arriving to the dock, so I know things were on. The weather was not that bad, so everything was going well. And at 7:30, we get to the counter at the airport to pick up the vans, and I had one van rented from one company and two vans rented from another company. I don't like to put all my eggs in one basket. So we get there, I get one van, everything worked out fine, and then I go to the next counter and they tell me that there are no vans. I'm sorry, Mr. Goodridge, but the vans that you that you reserved over a year ago are no longer available. So one of the things I like about myself, and make sure you use that line with your friends, it'll drive them crazy. One of the things I like about myself is that I don't get flustered when the unexpected happens. So it doesn't make any sense at all to waste time arguing, that I reserved these over a year ago and that I checked in every month, sometimes multiple times a month, even up to about 2 days before the cruise to make sure everything was in order. So at 7:30, with the cruise ship docking, with people, expecting their cruise, I find out that two of my three vans are not available, and I have somewhere between 20 and 30 people who are coming, so I need the vans. So they want to give me a 3 cars instead, or three, SUVs, whatever instead, but that's not going to work because I have a finite number of drivers, and so rather than spend time arguing, arguing and blaming the rep at the counter is not going to magically materialize a van. So we go into solution mode, and we know that there's one fellow who we dealt with last year who might have vans available. So we call him up at 7:30 in the morning, and he's not at work, and we convince him to make an exception because he said his guys are not going to be in until maybe an hour later, but we can't wait that long. And I told him, if he can make an exception, and I'll even pay more for the vans if he's willing to do that. So he does. We help him pull the vans out because they're all locked in, blocked in by other cars. So we help him move some of the vehicles out and get the vans out on the road. And I left with one of my friends, one of my drivers, and we go to the dock while the other van is being extricated from its blocked position in the parking lot. So while I'm driving there, my person who I had at the dock, she calls and said, there are people gathering here, and, and I realize that they're not going to be too happy. So I get to the dock, and sure enough, there's a crowd of folks there, and they're not too happy. But I apologize profusely, tell them what happened, and we load in the vans and we head off to American Memorial Park. So the part that I forgot to mention at the introduction is that things worked out okay for the most part. So we head to American Memorial Park. We watched the documentary. We checked out the visitor center. We went to the Carolinian Hut. We stopped at the tank and other relics and bunkers. And we even got a chance to visit Lino Olapai. Lino Carolinian elder has been my guest in the past. This time he was feeling a little under the weather, but he was gracious enough to be at home that day so that we could do a short visit. Reno answered questions about Carolinian culture, about his background, about celestial navigation. So it was a really insightful about the funeral practices within the Carolinian culture. It was really fascinating, really interesting. We checked out more culture. We checked out some beautiful scenery. We even went to Herman's Modern Bakery. Uh, and we got a piggy and I treated them to Kelaguen wraps.
But wait! There's more!
The universe didn't stop throwing curveballs. Halfway through the tour, when we were heading up through Cagman to Forbidden Island, one of the buses broke down. One of the two emergency last-minute buses vans that we got broke down. So fortunately, I live by the philosophy it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So I knew that we'd be good with 2 vans, but I made sure I got 3 just in case. Some people may want to leave early. We may pick up some extra people at the dock. So it's always good to have a little bit of redundancy built in. So fortunately, that worked out, even though we had to leave the bus on the street in front of Cagman High School. We were able to continue the tour and move on. We went to Suicide Cliff, Banzai Cliff, Bird Island, Last Command Post, and in search of Amelia Earhart. Then we went shopping afterwards and took them back to the port exactly at 4 p.m. So that's my short happy tale of the Zuiderdam cruise ship visit to Saipan. Everyone got back to the port on time. People got their beer, their Saipan beer, and their souvenirs. So a good time was had by all. A couple things. One of my guests wanted a storyboard, Palawan storyboard, or some sort of Pacific Island storyboard. We weren't able to find any for her. So if anyone watching this has any information, any leads, please let me know, and she'll be very grateful. Also, you can check out the Discover Saipan blog. That's discoversaipan.com/blog for more photos as well. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And check out the links in the description because we were also featured in the newspaper here on Saipan. So I'll have a link for that in the description. Now, Amy and her husband had made reservations a while back, but her husband wasn't able to make it. So we talked about getting her a refund. So next day, Amy emailed me and said, "Thank you very much for refunding my husband's trip. I just want to thank you again for a wonderful tour yesterday. It was so well organized and informative and interesting. It was a long day, but I learned so much about Saipan. Lots of people that I have talked with today didn't have a great time yesterday on their tours or independent exploration. I'm so glad that I spent my day with you. Even the bus breakdown didn't dampen the day. It was just an extra part of the adventure. Thanks again, Amy."
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Really fun having you.
Hope your day goes well, and I'll see you in the next video.
Subscribe.
Yun, what your romance?